Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy HP Maharaja. We back at it. Today is December 6th, 2018. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Can't make it an official show, you know. We'll get to that level whenever, but right now we gotta cut it raw, keep it raw, and roll raw, you know. That's the thing. See, I was just, you know, I was listening to a lot of this Dave Ramsey guy. Okay, he talks about living debt-free and all this kind of bullshit. I mean, it's not bullshit. It's good that, you know, you're probably debt-free. Great, but it's not really a good all-round solution to life. Yeah, you know, debt-free is great, but if you didn't have debt, you couldn't buy a house and build long-term wealth. You literally cannot do it. And then you're like, oh yeah, you want to buy a house? Pay for it in cash. The amount of money you spend on paying rent, you could pay in paying down a mortgage. And that was the case for my parents here. And we have a beautiful home here in Southern California. And so it just makes more sense to invest in a home and use the debt as a leverage. You have to use leverage whenever possible. Now, yes, debt does also put additional pressure on you to, you know, uphold your credit score, uphold your payments. Also, you know, make sure that you are paying those payments on time, because that's also a big issue. If you do not do so, then your credit score takes a hit. Your interest also gets affected. So that's another thing, you know, when you deal with debt, you get a lot of interest on top. The worst kind of debt I would say would be credit card debt. I was listening to some person and they were like, yeah, you know what, we have about $300,000 in credit card debt. I've never even heard about a credit card that gives you $300,000 in debt, but there are, you know, some credit cards that give you unlimited lines of credit, and you are able to then take out as much money as you want on the credit card. It's absolutely disastrous to have debt on your credit card because of the fact that the interest rates are absurd. The interest rates on credit cards range anywhere from 16% all the way to like 25 and beyond percent. So can you imagine on a monthly how much compound that would mean? That would mean a lot of money that you have to pay as a compounded interest. So if you are taking like $10,000 over the lifetime, and let's say you're just making the minimum payments, and if you look at your credit card statements, you will see there's a minimum payment there. It'll probably be like 20 bucks or 30 bucks, and they're like, just pay that and you'll be fine. The reason why they tell you you can pay just 30 bucks and pay the minimum payment is because the rest of the money can then be taxed or interested. Interest can apply on that principal, and every month if you just pay that little minimum payment, you're just adding more to the pile, because the pile itself accrues interest, and that's always a bad thing. But the credit card companies obviously want you to pay more money. So eventually, if you put $10,000 and you only pay the minimum payment, you might end up paying $30,000, $40,000 for that initial $10,000. So definitely would not recommend having a credit card. Obviously, I do use a credit card. I have 3 different credit cards, and it's not a bad thing. I opened a credit card and I used like $4K in the first 3 months, and I got $50K in points. What that means is that's basically 500 bucks. So if I spent $4K, I literally only spent $3.5K and got 500 bucks in points, which I could cash out at any moment. As a bonus offer. So there's a bunch of these strategies. I use a credit card also to accrue points, because each dollar you spend, you get a cent back if you're at a 1% rate, which is kind of the minimum across all credit cards. But 1% back is 1% back, right? Like, you're always looking for discounts. This is one way to get discounts. But I only use a credit card when, oh, look at the beautiful scenery. It's raining here and you can see the sun there. Giving some nice vibes out. But anyways, I only use a credit card if I am able to pay off the money at the end of the month. I do not leave more money left in the account than required. I mean, you should be able to pay off everything. If you can't pay off everything, then don't spend the money in the first place. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. It's a little bit about credit and how to manage credit and not to have credit cards, but you can also leverage debt on a real estate asset. But I can talk about more about this stuff later. I'm actually in like the huge complicated mess of trying to get a mortgage. I'm trying to look for properties that I can invest in now, but we'll see. I also have some land in Victorville, which I also have to figure out what to do. But anyways, that's the story. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. HP Maharaja signing out. Peace and love. Jai Ho, everybody.